there's something. I have a couple of scenarios here, and neither of them are good for us. Okay, the first one being, no one's talked about like the money. If Trump and his buddies continue, that's money to rebuild.
You're talking about Ukraine here?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I'm talking about Ukraine. Now, they've got, apartment buildings, utilities, transportation, roads, bridges, you name it, that's destroyed. Now, if for some reason Europe and Ukraine get together and they force the Russians out, now, do you think that outfits like Bechtel or Kiewit, etc., Turner Construction are going to have a chance to bid on that work? There's big, heavy construction companies in France, Britain, and Germany, and we will miss out on that money. And that's and I don't see how these top executives of these companies could ignore that and just because Donnie's a builder, we'll vote for him. My second scenario is if.
Let me respond to that one first. I've always assumed, and I certainly hope that it gets done the way that the Marshall Plan did after World War II, which is that we provide cash, but we want the country that is doing the rebuilding to develop, as in the process of the rebuilding, to develop an indigenous construction industry. That will serve them well going forward. So I don't think that American companies should be doing any rebuilding in Ukraine. I think Ukrainian companies should.
If there's companies that are big enough,
Oh, there's no doubt that there's companies. I mean, Ukraine built all that infrastructure to begin with. They know how to build things.
Well, okay, all right, point taken. Secondly, if let's say Russia takes down Ukraine, now between the two of them, they control 25% of the world's wheat production. Now, with USAID being hamstrung, and the Chinese, they've been there for years. But I could see Vlad saying to some petty dictator, let's say in Somalia or something, hey, we got all this wheat. We're gonna give it to you people so your people don't starve. And while we're at it, we'll bring along Wagner to take care of them pesky rebels out in the hills for you. How's that sound?
Yeah. Well, this is what's happening right now. Is the countries that have been aligned with the United States and were large recipients of USAID, and there's a lot of them. And probably roughly 50 of them that are, very much at risk of joining the Russians or the Chinese, most likely the Chinese, because the Chinese are both the Russians and the Chinese for a long, long time have wanted us to get rid of USAID. I think, this is just my personal theory, I think Elon Musk's hatred of USAID comes from the fact that USAID was one of the major forces that helped bring down apartheid in South Africa when Elon Musk was a child. He left South Africa when he was 17 after the end of apartheid. But prior to that, he was a rich white guy who literally was, according to his father, was driven to school every day in a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce. And all that white privilege kind of evaporated when apartheid ended. And Musk, fled to Canada and then came to the United States on a student visa, even though he wasn't apparently a student any longer. He was an illegal immigrant. But I don't see the rebuilding of Ukraine as a huge opportunity for us. I really think it needs to be an opportunity for Ukraine.